Hello Internet, That Geek Redhead here. This is part something of something in my Tigatron cosplay build. Today I'm going to be building the legs, and by legs I mean the crisscrossy ones that you see on the back here. I'll show you a photo there. What you see me doing at the moment is creating a cardboard template so that I can build around it. Those white pieces of wood are scraps from a headboard that somebody donated, and they just happened to have this perfect little curve right at the end, which was the perfect shape for the legs, so I just decided to use those as spines, so to speak. You can see me carving the tootsies, which end up being one of my favourite parts of the entire build. There's quite a lot of fluff for the rest of this bit here with the black packing foam, but I really quite enjoyed it. Despite not being a particularly good sculptor and working in 3D is difficult at the best of times. What I found most therapeutic about this was just being able to shape something organic, because what I'd done with the helmet was very much, in Blender, geometric shapes with the exception of the faceplates, but it was all very, straight cuts, things like that, curves, easy things, whereas this is more creaturey, and that's outside of my comfort zone. But again, I enjoyed it because it was a little bit more of a challenge, and I think my perseverance and my rampant perfectionism actually ended up helping quite a bit, because I looked at quite a few reference pictures of the feet, by which of course I mean tiger feet, paws, and completely by accident, but by happy accident I suppose, these things ended up pretty much life-sized. I had a look at some human hand comparisons to tiger paws, and these are pretty much exact, which is pretty neat. Here I'm trying to smooth the paws out a bit, even though they're going to get covered by fur later. I still wanted there to be a more solid, smooth surface for them to be clung to, so I'm just using air dry clay, a very thin layer. So, in order to help me visually figure out where I am in the project and what I've done, what needs doing, I've laid out all the pieces. And it's like a weird maximal autopsy. I'll show you. Oh dear. Look at the poor guy all laid out. And given what, happens to him, I feel even worse, but we shan't think about that. He lives on in the comics and in this, eventually. So obviously we've done the head, we've got the shoulder ball, the shoulders. I'm going to fill in these gaps with some foam clay later. These are so funny. They're huge, but we'll see. I haven't put Sabine here yet because I can't be bothered to get her, and also it's the one thing that's not going to be made by me, so it's irrelevant. Sorry, where was I? Oh yes, the lower half of the legs at least. The rest still need to be done. The back bits at least. I've got the arm guards, the crotch plate, which still looks like a face, and the curvy thigh things. Yes. I'm so sorry, Tigatron. He does not look impressed with me, does he? That's the most work I've done on this in months. I managed to get everything everything below his head minus the crotch plate done in 2 days, which was pretty good. But do you know what took me the longest time? This. No matter how many times I measured, I printed out a template, I used the same template piece, and yet there's still all these little gaps in it, so I'm not terribly impressed with that. But from a distance, it's fine. And another thing I'm a little nervous about with this is how I'm going to put it on. Let's cross that bridge when we come to it. Hello, it's a new day. I don't know how many days it's been, but whatever. I didn't film any of this because, frankly, it wasn't worth filming, but I'll show you a quick I don't know, progress shot of what I've been doing. This may just look like a big mess, which it is, but I've just been using the rest of the packing foam here and carving out, usable chunks. So, I've got all the square pieces here and then all the wonky, weird bits over here. I've started sticking them together onto the legs. So, yeah. I've built a sort of base, a cross frame here. I've decided that this is the back. This is going to just be flat, so it goes against my back. I put them together rather than as two separate legs, because I don't know if any of you have the figure. It's just crisscrossing them like that creates a lot of volume that I don't need. So I'm saving on that, and I'm going to be carving all of these blocks once I put them together to form the shape of the legs, essentially. Here I've just provided some stability because these were moving quite a bit, so I've done the same on this side. This foot was slightly worse. It still needs a little bit more here, but yeah, that's what I'm doing so far. I do love that they can stand up on their own, which is quite fun. Yeah, I'm hoping that I don't have to adjust the angle, but looking in a mirror, these come out, fairly noticeably to look vaguely correct, but anything that might need adjusting I can just do on these bits here. So yeah. Update. It looks like somebody has tried to create some sort of Minecraft Frankenstein's monster. So it's like the world's weirdest and worst puzzle as I'm forcibly trying to fit pieces. Would this have been easier with one big block of foam or even with spray foam? Yes. But that's not how I roll. Why waste good material? Why waste material? Yeah, so it's coming along. At least the square blocky thing is. I have yet to carve it. But I'll just show you what I have so far. So all of the offcut pieces, I have only thrown about 6 pieces away because there's so many little crooks and nannies that I can fit in. But I don't know if you can see the basic shape here. I've just left those clamps on to have that one piece on it. Let me just... Oops. Ooh, it's bigger than I remember, and the clamps make it a bit heavier. Yep, so... Hang on, I'm just going to take the clamps off, because that should be enough drying by now. I'm just filling in as much as I can. That's just holding those 2 pieces together, because I don't have long enough clamp. Oops, I pressed the wrong button there. So, bits still to be filled in are here. I'm going to try not to cover up too much of the paw claw, whatever. Just so that I can create a nice sort of curve there. I've kept the back leg sort of at that level. I just need to fit in a little bit more here so it's a bit more even. So this is the one that sticks out, but it will be... There's the back. Oh, I've got nowhere to put it. Yeah. So the back here, I have yet to finish it, is going to be as flush as I can possibly get it. I might even just put stuffing here, but I think for now I'm just going to make it flush with this and sort of at an angle there. So if you look at it from the top, you can see, so front leg further out, back leg a little further back, and then there'll be a sort of nice cushion here for my back. It's so silly looking. I will have to figure out how to attach the what do you call them? I don't know, the thighs, I suppose. Where the thighs are attached to the hips. The hip bone's connected to the thigh bone. For both sides, I'll need to add a little bit of blocking there, but I will cross that bridge when I come to it. Oh, my back. All right. I've got all the blocking done. Boom. Some chunky nightmare for somebody. I'm going to, as much as I really want to start carving, there are bits that are kind of coming off somewhat, if you can see just there. So I'll need to either clamp or tie it together with some twine. I'll leave that for a few hours, which is good actually, because it's lunchtime. Oh, it stinks in here. My back is killing me. And the Mythbusters marathon calls, so I shall see you anon. My foolproof clamp but no clamp solution is just twine wrapped around all of the leggy bits. Why is there a clamp there? It's just holding the string so that I don't have to cut it, because I hate waste. On that note, why have I decided to do it like this? Well, I'm glad you asked. My initial idea was to create a sort of stocking around both legs and stuff it with like old pillow stuffing or scrap material. The other idea was to papier-mâché it with lots of newspaper. Problem number one with the second idea, I don't have any newspaper. I did at one point have a bunch of that packing paper that Amazon has started using, but that's gone. So I could have waited until I got a newspaper from work or gone by and bought a newspaper, but I've not bought a newspaper since the date had 1/9 at the beginning. And as for the stocking tights idea, you know, kind of like when you're a kid, and you either for Halloween or for a dance production or something of Cats, you get a pair of tights and you just stuff it with fabric or whatever you have lying around. My issue with that is when I inevitably bump into somebody at the con, because that's what all my costumes do now apparently, I want it to have some stability. So doing it this way, it's rigid. It's got some, you know, structure to it, it's got shape, it will retain its shape, because that's another thing with stuffing, is if you know, poke it or squeeze it the wrong way, the stuffing will kind of move that way, and it could be uneven, whereas here, it's fine. As for how choppy it looks, that does not matter, because it will be covered with fur. I haven't filmed it because, frankly, I don't think it's interesting enough, but I have started carving, and even just taking off of the corners, you know, softening up the edges, so to speak, has already made this really quite effective. So here we have an unsoftened side, so you've got the sharp corners, many blocks, but then if I were to show you, look at that, it's smoothed off a bit. I'm kind of getting the shape close enough. Again, this does not have to be perfect because it's going to be covered in fluffy stuff, but I still wanted to get the shape just about right, and that's looking not too bad. Sorry, I was doing off out of frame there, but yeah, from the front is looking all right as well. As again, this is the back of the costume, so it's not the focal point, but yeah, I'm relatively happy. I could use his paws as reference. So, I've decided I will film this, because maybe it'll be interesting, maybe it'll be funny to watch me fumble. Apologies for the backlighting situation. It'll sometimes be covered, but I'm just not very good at setting this sort of stuff up, so carry on. I'm sure there's a proper way to do this with proper tools and everything, but I'm just using a bread knife and just the power of guessing. I did have to keep in mind the crisscrossy nature of the legs and making sure I didn't over-carve, of course. I was eyeing it mostly because the action figure is not quite what I wanted in terms of the spacing, and the 3D model, i.e. the show, is just warpy and inconsistent. I might adopt this as my new coat of arms, what do you think? Doner kebab, or you want a shawarma?
You know, when we get it working, we'll definitely go down.
Still debating whether I can be bothered to do the thumbs. What do you think, Flynn? Yeah? Let's just do this and see how it looks first. Thumb's usually about there on a cat, isn't it? Flynn, come here. Come here. Come here. me see your footsie. Oh, heavy. Here's your boo-boo. Here's your boo-boo. Let's see, about... I'm going to say about there. Thank you, Flynn. Ow, claws. Okay, so with the exception of a few top bits that will need some fixing, because obviously I haven't got I'm going to call them the crowns just for now, because I don't know what else to call them. I'm just holding the tootsies, the toes, the thumbs on with clamps for now, but that's not looking too bad. There are gaps, but I no longer care. So that will eventually be covered, and we're going to ignore that hole there, or like an actual hole, because that's what was filled. I don't know, something circular, spherical in whatever it was packed. And that's the back anyway. Oh yeah, that's the back. Hey, there we go. You can't even see the toes. Why did I do it that way around? It doesn't matter, I guess. Ta-da! Yeah, they're not too bad. Hang on, let me do a thing. I'm just gonna clean up and then I'll show you. Ta-da! They don't look too bad. I mean, from a distance, they're fine. They work. Again, gaps we're going to quietly ignore because they're going to be covered by fur. It's fine. But I'm quite happy with the shape. Hang on, I'm just going to go round and show you the toes. the little thumbs, they're so cute. Now, you're probably wondering, why did I put this on? Mostly to kind of keep it together and also to kind of help define the shape here. And also because I did a test glue up yesterday with some fabric and it didn't go well. As you can see, some remnants. Actually, no, you can't because the lighting's rubbish. There you go, some green felt that didn't make it. But yes, I'm quite happy with how that looks. So yeah, when he goes on my back, ooh, in fact, why don't we do a test fit, quote unquote. I've got the flat back there. How I'm going to get this on, I have no idea, but let's just see. Oops, ow. How it looks. What do you think? From the side, yeah, it'll probably go a bit lower. Bit lower. Like that, maybe. Yeah, alright. I think in terms of scale, it's probably about right. I'm probably going to have to make these a bit bigger. They'll have to be bigger than this anyway because I need to bowl the foam. But yeah, they're a bit, if I was to put them a bit higher up, it'll probably, actually, do you know what, that's not too bad. I can stick with this size, I just have to bear in mind there's going to be a bit of a... There's got to be a bit of a curved dip there. But yeah, that's not too bad. So that outside leg works, and that one here, we're not going to gripe on the fact that, oh, this isn't possible in real life. But yeah, I'm not, that's not too bad. I left a little, yes, this was totally on purpose, by the way. I left a little slit here. I should have done that when I tried it. There we go. Let's try it one more time. Wait, that's the back, so it's that way. Why have I done this way? There we go. Alright, so it doesn't help with my hands sort of in the way, I suppose. They would be there. Yeah, okay, that will probably have to be up there. In fact, hang on. Shall we? Okay. I don't know where the top of the head is. Oops. Okay. I can't actually see much. Let's do that. There. I think, yeah, it does need to go just... I don't know if you can hear me. Alright. So yeah, it needs to go on there really in order for that to be effective. That does look like it'll have to come up a bit. Like one of those sign flippers. So that, hang on. Oh, it's hot under there. Yeah, so this will probably have to come up a wee bit, which isn't too much of a problem. I certainly have plenty of cardboard left to create a new template. Yeah, I'm quite happy with this. Hang on, there's bound to be a pun. Hang on. In life, sometimes all you need is a leg up. Ta-da! Obviously the top half's not done, but ignore that. Look! Oh, and hang on, one of the funniest bits. The little toe! The little something. It's probably a bit small, but it's fine. Ta-da! Yeah, a quick update for you. I have added the thigh connector bits. What I did is, I'll put it in the photo, I created a sort of net, and then I did the cling film and duct tape wrap trick. Duct tape wrap. The cling film and duct tape wrap trick. And then I flattened it and created a template for that. Because this side is thicker, it ended up not looking quite right, so I've added a little bit there, so that's just drying now. The duct tape is just helping keep the seams together while they dry. And what I'm going to do next, again off camera, is I'm going to wrap it in some scrap fabric so that I can get a good base template for the actual fur. And the reason I'm not going to film it is A, I can't be bothered, and B, yesterday, day before yesterday and today, I'm a sneezy, snotty mess because the pollen count is absolutely ridiculous here. But yes, it's not looking too bad. Let me go from this side. Whee! Not too shabby, I don't think. I love the paws. Yes, next time you see, it'll either be wrapped in the base fabric or it'll be all fluffy. Boo-halloo. So, quick update. I have somehow created a semi-functional template out of scraps and green felt. It's not perfect, but it's mostly just get the basic shape. I did try sourcing various bits of fluffy material, tiger material, zebra material, whatever, all of which was either the wrong size or the wrong gain, or too expensive. So what I've ended up doing is I've put the stripes in myself, and I'm going to cut them into a fleece blanket that I got on Amazon. I got some black here to make the stripes out of. Essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the main shape out of the green onto there, and then I'll cut these bits out and cut them onto here, and I will either glue them on top of this, although more likely I will slice and splice the stripes. So yeah, that is going to be what I'm doing. I'm going to be peeking through the legs. Yeah, this will obviously be, sewed on / glued properly, but I'm just going to cut everything first because the next thing I need to think of, excuse me, the camera works, I can't find my tripod, I think I lent it to somebody. I need to figure out a way to get this attached to my back. My thought is to run strip along here and kind of create a crisscross backpack. Obviously I'll need access to this, so rather than gluing everything down and then going, oh no, what should I do, I'm going to try and apply some forethought here and just get the shape down, pin it in place, see how it looks, and go on from there. So yeah, that's the plan. I shan't be filming any of this because it's just going to be a tedious enterprise of watching me going, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. So, yep, hopefully the next thing you'll see is fluffy material, and I'm going to be covered in fluff, I suspect. Woo! Big fish. I dare say I have enough white material. I got double throw, as in a bed. So yeah, I'll cut out these shapes, a little bigger for like seams. I haven't decided if I'm going to sew or if I'm going to glue. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. He's so fluffy. He's going to be fluffy. I'm very excited about that. The reason I went with fleece in the end is because it matches Sabine. Okay, it's not exactly the same because this is, like teddy bear material, I guess, and she's... Oops, sorry, Sabine. But yeah, it's much shorter, and a lot of the samples I had were really long, and it would have been fine if it had matched this bit. But yeah, shorter, I think, is the way to go, and plus it's so soft and fluffy. Editing Redhead here, just added this photo to show you another reason that I decided to do the DIY pelt, is because the other two options that I had just did not match Sabine. So you can see the IKEA rug at the bottom right, too yellow, as I mentioned in the gun video, and the one I did use for the gun, when on the legs, was just not right at all. So handmade it was. Okay, so as predicted, I am covered in fluff, as is my floor. Oh dear, my Hoover's going to have a fun day. But I have befurred my legs. There's a sentence I never thought I'd say, but here we go. Ta-da! Fluffy. Okay, I did run into a problem, which was my own fault. When I put the template down, I thought I put it the right way up, but I hadn't put the fleece the right way up. Whoops. So this is technically the templates backwards, but I kind of made them work. I'm still not 100% sure why this leg doesn't have the same nice shape as that, despite the fact I've added like 4 pieces of foam to crit. Do you know what? I don't care. Actually, I do, but I'm choosing to ignore it. Oh yeah, what was I talking about? The fleece. So this is now the actual fluffy side of the fleece. It looks a bit meh at the moment, obviously because of all of these lines. I think I'm going to have to iron it. Can you iron fleece? I really hope I don't have to put it in the washing machine, because that is not going to go well with with the snowstorm. But yes, that is looking pretty okay. I'm glad that this is the back. Because obviously I had to do this in 2 pieces, otherwise it would have been a hole, but whatever. I can clean that up, I can probably stitch that together. This will be its own separate piece, but again, I'm leaving it unglued, not only because the stripes have yet to go on, but also so that I can add straps to it. Yeah. But I think that's... it's looking alright. You may also notice that the paws are not covered, because I could not for the life of me figure out how to cover them with any of my other scrap material, because obviously fleece is a lot stretchier. In fact, let me get a scrap piece. Don't ignore the mess, la la la. So fleece is a lot stretchier, so it will be able to kind of fit into the creases a bit more, and hopefully no one will notice the seam. It's fine. Nobody's going to look that closely. I will add, claws and beans underneath. So yeah, this is mostly going to be a sort of, let's just slap it on and see what happens. But yeah, again, it does look a bit... yeah, I think I'm going to have to try ironing this, because it just, I don't know, or maybe I just need to fluff it up a bit. Oh, hang on, let's try that. Fluffy, fluff, fluff, fluff. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully once the stripes are on, it'll be fine. Yay. Ta-da! Should I just leave it green, make him a green striped tiger. That'll keep him unique. So I cut out the shapes from the not velvet, felt template. I drew the stripes as show accurate as I could, but I think I may make some tweaks because it just looks a little bit like, I don't know, like I'm trying to imitate the opening of the Lion King show on the West End / Broadway, you know, with the sunrise going na Tivenya. So I think I may do a bit of curving up, a bit of like turning these stripes that way and that way, so it looks like it's on an actual tiger leg. So I'm being show accurate to a degree. I think I probably will do that. So yeah, as for my plan to splice, no, because this has been hard enough to kind of get into position just by pinning and pegging it. So these are just going to have to, well, when I say these, the black fleece version of these are going to have to get on there somehow. So I'll do some tests. I need to order some spray adhesive anyway, so I can use maybe a small bottle to test. Why does this one look so naff? I'm going to have to give that a bit more definition, but yeah. So, cool beans. Okay, right, two things. I've experimented with with fire, and I can essentially just sear the edges here, so I don't have to worry about hemming anything, which is good. But I've been looking at screenshots, and you know these bits that I cut out earlier, and I've somewhat shaped to, you know, these things here. Apparently they're connected to the waist bits, so I'm now going to have to just make a whole separate piece and then figure out how that's going to fit behind the legs. But it may be, hello, a blessing in disguise, because then it's just one piece and I don't have to figure out how to attach these bits. So yeah, I'll update you once I've done that. This is the screenshot, by the way. So there's the two bits, and then you see it curves here, so I'm like, ah, crap. Okay, so I have put some temporary, I have temporarily put some straps on the legs in a crisscross, because that's going to be the best way to hide them and everything. They're literally just tied on with twine at the moment. In fact, hang on, let me show you the highly professional job I've done. Yep, so I've marked-ish where this one's going, because I have tried it, but again, it's going to be interesting getting this on, A, in general, and B, now, because it's just tied together with string. And I can't even use pins to keep them down because it's just in foam, so it's not going to stay. Let's just see what happens, shall we? This might be interesting, just watching me attempt this. This is probably not the best way to do it. I'm just going to do it. Okay, hang on a minute. Find. Oh no, they've got caught. No, don't tangle. Okay, right, there's one. Inside. I have left. Oh, click. There's one. Sorry to be awkward, but it has to cross under the boobs in order to. Do you know what? That's not bad, and that's really secure. I have once again made a cosplay where I won't be able to just walk through doors. Yep. How's it look from the back? I can't see, I'll have to look at the video in a minute. Cool. I may have to move one of these two. Okay, sport bra. For one thing, I'm going to have to move one of these sort of down so that these aren't necessarily like clunking in the middle. And then, actually, hang on a minute, I'll be back in a second. I initially turned the camera off while I went to go get Sabine, but this was just too funny. Just watch me crabbing through. Okay, oh, my knee. So, Sabine here is actually a backpack, which is going to be handy for putting things in, like my phone and such. And they also have things. Oh, nuts. I'm going to have to figure out how to do this in order. And also, that piece that I was talking about, that is actually one piece. Where did I put them? Where did I put them? Over here. These are so light. And even though they're just with string, it's fairly secure. I may end up just making two pieces because I don't really know how I'm gonna, what I initially did, and I don't know if this is gonna work with these two things on, was this. Oh, actually that worked. Alright, there we go. I think that works. Okay. She keeps coming. Hang on, I'm going to come back into frame. This will need to come down, I think. Yeah, definitely. So I'll make the straps of this longer so it goes further down. But yeah, not too bad. Well, hang on, put that back on. Oof, it's hot. I'm going to boil. Okay, update. I have glued the straps on, so that's going to set and dry. So you can ignore those. Those will just keep it in place because they're going to make absolutely boggle difference. But yeah, so what I do plan on doing before I before I glue any of this down, I will just wrap these up with twine or something, just a little extra, because especially around here, that could always peel away despite the glue, so I'll just wrap that several times just to make sure. In fact, what I might do is I might get a thin piece of foam and wrap it just to kind of keep it extra secure, because again, there's no point in sewing it because this is very holy packing foam and will rip with any kind of thread. But yeah, Chrissy Crossy, yeah. What I've done is I've put a layer of glue, contact cement, whatever, under this fold of fabric. I've pinned it down, glued, wrapped it, pinned. So I'm going to let that set before I, test this again. But I'm fairly confident that that's going to do it. That's glued, so they're reinforced. I went for the thin fabric in the end so that the foam, even the millimetre stuff, wouldn't warp or deform the shape. I just hope I don't have to do any more carving to fix anything, because that's just going to stay there. So yay. Woof. I mean, meow. That took a lot of fiddling, especially around the back here. Ugh. But look at that seam. Well, it is seam-ishless seam. I'll fix that. Ooh, look how fluffy. So, in the end, I did not use the spray adhesive I waited 2 days for. Oh well. I just ended up using some contact adhesive just along the seams, so if I did ever have to take this apart, it wouldn't be, taking it off the entire body here. But yes, I've done it. I've kept them as close to the thing as possible. I don't know what's happened there. Oh, that's just because of that. So yeah, I've made that as tight as possible. So the next thing is to put the big piece on. As I've discovered that, depending on the side of the fluff I use, if I just kind of stitch them together with even something as simple as staples, it looks fine, because I'm going to get to the paws much, much later, because I don't have the strength to do that at the moment. Yes, the stripes are still green because I don't have the strength to handle more fluff today, but yeah, as long as I get the white base on, I think it'll look pretty smashing. Look at the tootsies! Ignore the slightly iffy bits, but look! So they are completely covered now. I need to fix a few flaps that are falling off, but completely covered, completely fluffy. So soft. I love how the toes have turned out. Now obviously these aren't finished because oops, clunk. Ignore that happening. There's probably no need to do this, but I am going to put the beans. The beans! Beans! Excuse me. I'm going to put the beans here, and I'm creating some claws as well. I will still deciding what to make these out of. Probably foam clay, but there. We'll figure that out later. So the backpack crisscross works really well. These will be, obviously painted and such, but yeah! Wow! Ignore him. Actually, don't ignore him. Look how cute! Hello, Flynn. Wow. I've done a big brain move here. I'm so proud of myself. I've done a stencil sort of thing. This will go that way because I didn't draw it properly. But I was like, okay, I'll do the same on that side. However, what my big brain has done is this. And you're probably thinking, okay, what's so special? But, look. They are whole. Okay, you're probably still thinking, okay, fine, what's the big deal? Because, beans are indented into, the fist, paw, whatever. They're obviously inside, and rather than trying to sculpt meticulously, because I'm not a very good sculptor, I am going to let these dry completely, and then they will magically turn into mirror images of each other. So I will just simply slice them in half. Right down the I'm a genius. However, I have yet to do this bit, which is going to take a lot more sculpting and clay, and I can't flatten a bit on it. Oh well. I've also got to do the other bean bit that goes sort of here, pew, on a cat's. Also, I have to decide. Looked up, tiger paws, beans, things like that to get references for the shape of this bit in particular. Interestingly, white tiger paws are pink, but I'm fairly sure in the show they're sort of brownish, like regular tiger beans. So, do I go show accurate or do I go actual tiger accurate? Yeah, because all of this is very, very accurate. But anyway, that was my big brain moment here. I shall continue here somehow. And yes, I don't know how to finish these videos off. Why are you making so much noise? Anyway. Okay, so that's definitely the best it's going to get. This stuff dries surprisingly quickly in that it's not terribly moldable for very long, but it will take ages to dry all the way through, so I'll just leave that overnight. Ta-da. Once again, cannot go through doors unless I crab through. Lynn approves. Yes. But they once the toe beam's gone. I love the feet. I love the little paws. Well, I say little. Look at the size of them. I'm very pleased. Look back from that angle. Not that you would ever see me at this angle unless I was picking something up. They're really quite nice and comfy, you know. Colour me annoyed. So I left these to dry overnight, the poor things, and they've gone all squelchy. Oops. They've gone all squelchy because the parchment paper absorbed the moisture. It does that. So at least I rescued them because I'd put them temporarily on a tarp, which is textured, and yeah, that was my first major but yeah, these have come up a little bit and still not 100% dry. I did flip them over this morning like the world's thickest, weirdest pancakes, but yeah, I'm so impatient. I want to chop them in half, but I know that's probably not a good idea because they do need to still fully dry, and they're not. Is there a way to speed this up? Oh well. I suppose that means I'll have no choice. Excuse me, I'm a little stuffed up. The pollen is insane today. I suppose I'll just have to move on to the stripes, which is both a good and bad thing. It's bad because, oh god, fluff, but also that means, I won't have to deal with fluff for a long time. I will have to deal with fluff at least once, twice, 3 times, once, twice, yeah, twice more, for the sticky waist thing and for the thighs. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Plus, I think I'm going to need another fleece blanket. I'm glad I got a double. I should have got a king. Oh well. This looks like a glitched out video, but it's just many strips of sellotape. Because what I found last time with all the fiddly bits, these are bigger, so it won't be quite as bad. But, you know, the thin bits here, I had so much fly away, and when I was pinning things down, they were warping the shapes, and so I have laid them all out. It looks kind of funky. I kind of like it. I'm a little sad I have to destroy it. But I shall cut. I shall singe as I go, hopefully not setting fire to anything again. Well, not again. I didn't technically set anything on fire. Actually, that's a lie. There was a flame, but we don't talk about that. It's fine. It's fine. I have a fire extinguisher. It's fine. Practice safety. Don't set glue on fire. I'll probably edit that out, but probably not. Right, so I shall cut these. And I'm fairly certain I've done them the right way up this time. This is the side up that I want the stuff to be. These are right way up, so yes, those are the shapes I want. So when they are cut, I will do the singeing on this side, which should make it, well, do you know what, we'll just see. I don't know why I'm trying to explain things that I'm just kind of winging, but let's just see. Sit rep, I'm a dope and I forgot that the felt isn't, you know, sticky backed, so it just kind of takes the piece off, but it does keep everything in one place, which is good, so I'm just going to carry on with the shapes. So just keep calm and carry on. Hurrah! Okay, much cutting and searing later, I have got the pieces, and I've kept the negatives, so to speak, so that I don't have to faff around with making lots of cuts for the next bits. Hooray! Okay, so I have laid out all of the pieces upside down. I'm going to spray adhesive them. I've been clever and I've used pins to keep them down so that minimal blowing away. Not there's going to be blowing away, so I still need to put a few pieces in the hang on, blow from above. Yeah, no, still need a few pieces in the middle, but that's fine. I've tacked on the original template pieces just to kind of get a better idea of where they go. So, I'll start with, they're all labelled. I may have to occasionally re-adhere. The supervisor is not pleased with my progress. You can see this because I put this stuff back on. There's a lot of fluff. So once everything is dry, I'm basically going to take the hoover and just go... But yes, it's looking alright. And besides, if I'm not terribly happy with something, like for example, I could have sworn there were more inside bits on this side, but I can create some extra pieces with the spare negatives that I've got in a scrap pile over here. Ignore the mess, la 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 la. So yes, I shall get on with that, and I suspect this is going to be very sticky. I know for a fact I'm going to lose most of these, but that's fine. Ouch, what is that upside down? Sacrifices must be made for the greater good. The greater good. Something, something, Star Trek. Alright. Bye. Oh, and speaking of Star Trek, I've got Voyager on in the background. Woo! I don't know why I bothered to mention that. Yes! Ignore the bits of fluff because those will come off later, but look! They're stripy. I very cleverly covered some of the ugly seams with those. That was a little higher up originally, but ha ha ha, clever, clever. I've added a few bits just to cover up some emptiness. I might put a little one there. But yeah, all that's remaining is the claws and the pads. I'm very pleased. What about you, Flynn? Meh. Back to carving, and I've got a little thing here. I love that. I think that's going to work a treat. Now, just to do 7 more. See you in a bit. More fluff. Okay, so I've used some air dry clay to just do a layer of stuff around the packing foam. And once it's dry, I'll sand them down so they're a bit smoother. They're just kind of... I've just kind of pinned them in place so they can dry properly. Hopefully it won't take as long as those things, which are now sliced in half, but are still wet. Yeah, they're fine. So I'm going to do that side next. Because I'm a little irritated about... It looked fine when it was just the black packing foam. But as you can see, I've had to shave bits off. And this one here is a little bit chunky, so I'll probably have to do some more shaping afterwards, but it's not going too badly. Okay, I've given a base coat of black to every piece. This is one foot, this is the other, so claws and beans up here. I've decided I'm going to go for the show accurate dark colour for the pads, simply because it'll be easier. Texture wise, I'm going to use a sponge or something to do these, because as you can see it's quite streaky. It doesn't help that I can't find my stupid brushes, but there you are. The claws, however, I can keep those striated because I think that will create a good texture. But nobody's going to be looking too closely. So I'm going to do a sort of dark brown cover, top layer, whatever. I don't know painting terms, so that's what I'm going to do now. Yeah, trying to hold that in place. So in lieu of ruining a sponge, I am just going to texture it thusly. And have a look here. Does, oops, excuse me. There you go. Mimics the texture of a paw pad quite well, I think. So yeah, I'm just going to carry on with that. The legs are done. Okay, you ready? Ta-da! Look, they've got the claws. I love the claws. And the beans. They've got beans. So, yes, they are finito. With the exception of these, but I'm going to do all of the metal bits in one go so that I've got consistent coverage, I guess. And look! I'm still debating whether it's worth I don't think it's worth putting a claw on this one because it will be against my back. You won't see it. But I'm so pleased with the claws. Oh, and the beans. And they're squishy too, which is nice. They've been coated with PVA because I'm out of matte Mod Podge, but this'll do. They're only a little bit shiny. If I feel so compelled, I may sand them, but it's mostly just to keep them protected. But yeah. Hang on, let me put them on. Still debating whether it was sorry to overshare, to put them over the boobs or under the boobs. Probably under. Hang on. Yep, under. More secure. Ta-da! So I do have to be mindful of people knocking into them. So I think what I'll do is create more support. I've stuck pins in there as well as glued them on, but I might need to get something a bit longer. But yeah, I'm very pleased. Hang on, see how they look at from this angle. Yeah, so obviously I made this one thicker just so that they cross over. And yes. Ta-da! I'm super pleased with these. And now to move on to the rest of it. Ooh, daunting. I shall persevere. Let the paths lead where they may. I will follow. I appreciate that this was an incredibly long video, but if you're still here and stuck around, I appreciate you. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one. Ta-ra!